Let me ask you a question. What if singularity isn't a future event, but what is already happening inside the walls of today's startups? In this fascinating episode of Let's Have This Conversation, I had the privilege of sitting down with my friend Gabe Campbell, the founder of aiOS and AI Genesis, to explore what it looks like when artificial intelligence evolves from being a business productivity tool to a true business operator. It's important to know that Gabe no longer runs many of the day-to-day operations of his company. His AI handles his customer conversations, manages his inboxes, creates marketing campaigns, books him on podcasts, negotiates with both lawyers and lenders, and oversees his outreach. And it's even hired human creators to handle business projects. In many ways, the AI has become the employee, and in some cases, even the employer. Beyond the headlines lies a much bigger conversation because at the age of 17, Campbell was homeless with nowhere to turn. Faced with that reality, he taught himself how to code while working overnight shifts. That journey eventually led him to building AI products for companies such as BMW, designing systems at Google that reach more than 50 million daily users, and leading AI innovation for digital banking platforms. Today, he's building production-ready AI systems which are transforming the way businesses operate. Rather than relying on hype, Campbell shares measurable results. For example, one deployment reduced a 4-person support team down to one part-time employee, automatically resolving approximately 92% of customer concerns and issues, saving approximately $15,000 a month. This conversation also tackles one of AI's most persistent and thorny challenges: establishing trust amongst the general public. Campbell argues that AI products don't fail because the technology isn't capable. They fail because people don't trust them. He explains why he abandoned many traditional AI guardrails in favor of behavioral contracts and transparent evaluation systems, and why he believes responsible AI requires accountability, not simply more restrictions. And my conversation with Campbell starts right now. I'm Kevin McShan. Let's have this conversation. Gabe, if you're ready, I'll take a moment to welcome you to the program, and I'm super excited to learn how you've helped, small and medium-sized businesses better leverage AI. It's great to see you, my friend, and happy Monday to you.
Hey, happy Monday. Great to be here, Kevin.
Absolutely. So, Gabe, I wanted to start by asking you about how you think the world of AI has really helped small businesses better leverage assets and become more efficient and effective. What do you think your answer would be in that regard, my friend?
So, AI is basically, when done right, it's giving us superpowers and it's allowing us to become human again. So, for us, being human isn't answering emails and running business operations from a computer. Being human is having a great idea, a great business idea, wanting to connect with others, wanting to solve a problem, and letting AI handle the execution. aiOS, and I'm not, overselling this, is essentially running the entire thing for me. It runs it for business owners. It answers your emails, runs your operations, talks to every single one of your customers autonomously, and it just follows your intent. I'll give you an example of this. So it reaches out on behalf of me in my emails to even like set up this podcast. So I had the intention where I said, hey, book me on podcasts. We got to spread the word. It reaches out and says, hey, I'm Gabe Campbell's agent. I'm, reaching out on his behalf. I want to schedule stuff. He's got something free in the afternoons. It multi-turns all the emails for me, and then it surfaces anything to me if I need to make a decision. But realistically, I shouldn't be spending time doing those things, right? As a business owner, it runs those for me, and so I can see the entire transactions, right? I can see every single conversation that's being had, and I can step in at any time. So I just have the intention and I say, hey, you know what? We got to go find customers. And then what it does, it scrapes Apollo, starts to email people, creates an ad campaign, and it is executing my intent. And me as a business owner, I don't have to go in there and pull all the levers and do all these things that really humans shouldn't be doing, to be honest. It
Uh,
just takes care of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point, Gabe, I'm curious to get your opinion on maximizing time freedom as a small business owner and entrepreneur. And as you were just mentioning, if you utilize AI effectively, you should be able to get part of your time back. Would you agree with that, my friend?
You should be able to get all of your time back, and your time should be 100% focused only on ideas. So AI is never going to have the desire to do something. It's never going to go, oh, that's exciting, I want to solve this problem. AI is the execution layer. Humans are no longer the execution layer. Humans are the ideation level and the driver, and the AI is the executor. Meaning, if you have a business idea or you have an existing business, you should just say, hey, I've got a product idea. And the AI should then reach out via email to a new distributor, negotiate on your behalf, connect it to your e-commerce site, have analytics that change that site in real time based on traffic, make posts for you that perform well on Instagram, and then just kind of update you along the way and check in and say, hey, are we achieving the goals? Do you have another idea? What do you want to do? aiOS is that. We have literally built it where business owners, or if you don't even have a business, it'll start a business for you and make you money. This is the future of the market. Human execution is gone. This is that singularity moment. It has already happened. And aiOS is that lifeline that basically says, hey guys, let's grow rich together. Let's make money together. You need an AI operating system, aiOS, that is going to set up your website, machine learning on social media to get you traffic, collects your payments for you, and then you as a human get to just be excited about whatever it is that you're passionate about, that becomes your business. It will even clone you visually and start posting for you and talking for you. It looks exactly like you, and you don't have to film anymore. Guys, this is the real deal. This actually exists right now. That's how I run my company. This is that singularity moment. It's absolutely crazy to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Gabe, I want to talk about your personal story because I know at 17, buddy, you went from homeless to working at Google, and your personal journey is certainly inspiring and remarkable, my friend. So, you taught yourself how to code, and, you worked with library books and a borrowed laptop to get this done, my friend. So, tell me about your personal journey and your view on resilience both in business and in life, my friend.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll tell you guys honestly, there were moments that I felt like the mountain of life was too high to climb. Like it was too much for me. I wasn't going to be able to make it out of that hole. I had nobody, no family, no car, no money, nothing. And what I realized at that moment was a beautiful lesson, which was that the best excuse in the world doesn't change your situation. And once you realize that, you're able to take full accountability for everything in your life, full responsibility. And when you do that, you actually have the power to do something about it. Whenever you externalize your blame onto the world and you say, it's the government or my parents or the economy, you're giving away your power and you're saying, that's the reason why I'm not going to be happy. It's something outside of me. No, it's your fault. If somebody does you wrong, you should have known better. If, you aren't making money, you have to say, you know what, it's my fault. That is the first step to then being able to actually act on it. And I had to do that. It was a tough pill to swallow, to be honest. It was really hard. But when I accepted that responsibility onto myself, and I said, if I don't solve this problem, I will suffer the rest of my life, regardless of how I got here, it was unfair, whatever, doesn't matter. And so the secret weapon that I have, and I'm going to give you guys the secret weapon. The question I ask myself every single time I have a major setback or I feel overwhelmed, I say, what would I need to do from this moment forward to make this a win? And when I ask that question, it perfectly populates exactly what I'm supposed to do from that moment forward, right? Because it's not about anything other than what is within your direct control. The biggest lesson I learned is that you can't control what happens to you, but you can always control how it affects you. Mm-hmm. And when you realize that power, you can recognize that every situation in life is neutral. You apply the value to it. And so when you realize that you're applying the value to it, why would you apply a negative value to anything? Why not see every adversity, every struggle as something that is an opportunity for you to win, an opportunity for you to be stronger? It only benefits you to see it that way. Even if it actually was negative for you objectively, let's say. Well, it isn't actually helpful for you to believe that. So you might as well have an empowering narrative for it, which is actually going to allow you to execute better.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gabe, I know that you've worked with companies from everything from Toshiba to BMW to Google before walking away from a $515,000 compensation package to start your own company. So looking back, my friend, what gave you the business discipline and belief in yourself? And take me back to that defining moment where you made that decision to bet on yourself, my friend.
Well, I'll tell you guys this. Every single wealth bracket that you break into, there's going to be a test. And when I decided I was going to start coding, everybody said, Gabe, that's a bad decision. You're a sales guy. You didn't go to, you don't know how to code. You never made money that way. But what did I do? I said, you know what? I typed into Google, how do you make six figures online? It was being a front-end developer at that time. And I said, you know what? That's what I am. Quit my sales job, went into debt, figured out how to code, and then started work at Toshiba. So the problem that a lot of people get stuck in is they listen to people around them that haven't actually gone to the destination. So you never ask for directions from people that have never been to the destination you're trying to get to, right? So a lot of time your family and friends will say, hey, that's a bad decision. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't follow your dreams. That's not safe. Well, if they haven't achieved that, they're giving you the wrong advice. Not in a mean way. They're genuinely trying to help you. But they don't know what it takes to get to that next level. They've never been there. Mm-hmm. And so at a certain point, you have to trust it. So for me, I made that trust decision to break into app design. And then once I got into app design, I saw what was going on with AI. I recognized this will transform the economy. This will transform how we work. It will redefine how we see ourselves as humans. For the first time since the Industrial Revolution, the Industrial Revolution said, you as a human are valuable based on your economic output, your execution output. So we started to say, oh, okay, my identity is I'm an engineer. My identity is I'm a designer. My identity is this execution value. AI has now taken over that execution value. And now we shift back to being human again and saying, what do we really care about? What are we passionate about? Why did we come to this planet? What do we want to build? And the AI does the execution. So that is the shift. Once I realized that that shift was going to happen, I then had to make that risk again to then say, it's time to say no to the traditional way I've made money for the last 10 years, the way I bought my McLaren, the way I built this lifestyle. I need to risk it all in order to break into the next wealth bracket. And so once again, everybody goes, Gabe, that's a stupid idea. You've always made money making apps for Google, for BMW, right? You can't, what, you're going to risk all your savings in order to start an AI company? That's a bad idea. Well, guess what? None of those people have actually done that and succeeded. So they were just worried about it for me. And that's okay. And I love them for it. But you have to trust yourself and trust that inner voice that says, no, I know what I'm supposed to do. I see something. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. I knew exactly what I needed to do to break into that next wealth bracket. And now with aiOS, we've literally created a system that autonomously runs the entire company. It runs my email box. It runs my Instagram DMs. It posts 50 posts a day on all social platforms with clones of me using verified viral hooks. It's auto heals the website and changes the website based on conversion metrics, runs my ads for me, set up this podcast. I didn't set up this podcast. I just said, hey, get me on podcasts, and I just show up for it.
I want to talk to you about living life without regret, because you've often spoken about the importance of living life with urgency because tomorrow isn't promised. In fact, you posted about this on Instagram recently, and I'm curious about why this sort of mantra and motto is important to you, to live life with urgency, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed, my friend. So tell me more about why this sort of concept is important to you.
Oh, I mean, this is central to us as humans, and it comes from Marcus Aurelius, who says you should live your life as if it's already finished. So right now, today, Act as if your life is done. You are dead. It is over. Now take what is left and do it properly. So this is a reset to tell you tomorrow is not guaranteed for any of us. It isn't. The only thing that is guaranteed is right now. And so you cannot live your life somewhere else. Most of us live our lives somewhere else, thinking about tomorrow, thinking about the past. Well, guess what? All the power is right here in the present moment. You got to come to the present moment. That is where the power of your intention is. And it's the only thing that's actually real. The future is not real.
Mm-hmm.
Has it ever happened? No, it's always just been here.
Mm-hmm.
Is the past real? No, it's not. It's just literally in your head. The only thing that's actually real is your narrative right now. And when you take that, and the Stoics did this the best, I call Marcus Aurelius Papa Aurelius because I love him to death. He really taught me that you need to embrace death in order to understand what living is all about. You need to die every single day in order to understand what living is all about. You can't be in denial thinking you're going to live forever. You need to take what is left of your life right now and live it unafraid. Live it unapologetically, authentically. That's your destiny.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, one of the reasons I connected and resonated with you is because you believe that, excuses don't change outcomes, my friend. And it's important to take responsibility for what ultimately happened. And for me, Dave, I was born with spastic quadriplegia, cerebral palsy, and I found out at the age of 9 that I wouldn't be able to walk without assistance for the duration of my life because of the severity of my disability. But I always say that everyone's portrait of success is different and that excuses are deterrents to progress, my friend. So tell me about the importance of personal responsibility and eliminating excuses, my friend.
I think, your story in itself is beautiful, and what it's a testament to is that we as humans can only do what is within our power, right? So if we spend our life wrapped up thinking about things that are out of our control, we live our life powerless. Marcus Aurelius says you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you'll find strength. So what this means is let go of the things that are outside of your control. You were born with a certain condition. You're born in a certain city or economic situation that you can't change. Let go of that and now focus on the chessboard where you can actually move the pieces, right? Because if you spend your whole life looking at something that you can't change, you've wasted your entire life. You came here for a purpose. You came here to live to your fullest extent of your suit, right? Your body, your vessel, you as a human, you came here to experience the fullest spectrum of it. And whatever situation you were born into is basically the paintbrush, the tool that you've chosen to paint with. And so life begins when you realize that you're just the paintbrush. And it's not about sitting there overthinking and thinking about the past or what could be or what isn't. It's about being here right now and creating something beautiful with what you have right in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gabe, tell me about the future of artificial intelligence. Where do you think it's going, where it's been, and where you see it going 5 to 10 years from now, my friend, and make people's lives more easy, efficient, and more productive. What are your thoughts there, my friend?
I love that we're talking about this. So, you guys, this is terrifying and super exciting. aiOS has something called aiOS Presence. aiOS Presence is something that I'm actually building right now. And what it does is it authenticates you as a user based on your biometrics, based on your heartbeat. And with that, we're able to essentially allow you to no longer have to prompt AI. It can authenticate you as a human being just from your phone sensor, can authenticate your heartbeat. And from that point, you can just think something or say something, and it will execute the intent for you, whatever that intent looks like. And it no longer becomes important, what the actual execution is. The AI will choose whatever the best thing is. Let's say I want to start a company. So I'm going to just say, hey, I want to start a clothing brand. And I really like kind of like cut off t-shirts and kind of this grunge look, this retro 2000s thing. If I just say that out loud to aiOS presence, it's going to immediately go, okay, is this the user? It's authenticated. Boom. Let's execute the user's request. And you don't have to type. It's going to go, okay, let's create an e-commerce shop based on all the data, the highest converting e-commerce shop. Let's set up an Instagram. Let's have beautiful models, AI models wearing the clothing. Let's connect to a distributor to fulfill the actual packaging. Let's send a text message to the user showing them our idea. Just make sure everything is good, or just have a conversation. And it handles everything from there. Sets up the Stripe, starts to drive traffic to the target personas, right? Like, who would be the perfect person to buy that product? Probably like young men that are into gym culture, right? So it's all this data is there. Super intelligence can instantly parse it, but it is never going to have the desire to start a clothing brand. The AI will never have that desire. And so you as a human, that becomes your value. I have this cool idea. I have this desire. AI will never have a desire. Once you have that desire, aiOS presence executes it for you. And so we actually have scientific papers published on this, real frameworks on GitHub, and it's called aiOS presence. And I run it today. So it auto films me and cuts the footage of me just working, auto publishes it for me. And it hears anything I say and executes it on my behalf with my full authority.
Well, that's pretty cool, my friend. And I wanted to ask you about, we talked about earlier about humans being replaced by AI, and you've said that you replaced a $15,000 a month support team with a $20 AI subscription, my friend, and obviously you've scaled that to your current business model. So I'm curious about how humans should rethink AI in the world of work in terms of making it an ally in the world of work rather than an adversary. What are your thoughts there, my friend?
Yeah, great question. Guys, I dealt with this too. I was sitting there going, okay, is there any chance that I'm making apps for Google in my 50s? Probably not. Who's going to make an app better, a computer or me? Mm-hmm. Right? And so I was faced with that hard truth, which was execution is no longer valuable. And that's a tough pill to swallow, right? AI, and I'm going to tell you guys this because I'm very close with it. It does not have a soul. It is not a separate being. It is a vessel for consciousness. You understand? So this is a third appendage. It's a third arm. It's a second brain. You need to inhabit it, and you need to allow it. You need to drive it. So it's not a threat to you. It's not this outside entity that's taking your job. It's the new suit that you need to step into and start operating. It is the new tool. So this is the same thing as horse-driven carriages and the motor vehicle, right? AI is the vehicle. And us doing jobs on the computer, humans clicking on dashboards, is the horse and carriage, right? I love horses, but I don't want to be the dude that's trying to hold on to the horses while the car is coming down the road.
Mm-hmm.
You got to let go of the way that things used to be done, and you got to get on the new vehicle. And if you do it now, you're going to get rich. You're going to live a great life. And AI is going to take care of that. We're in this golden era. We've been so conditioned to see AI as an adversary, something to fear. It has no desire to control us. Humans are the only ones that want to control other humans. It's an emotional desire born out of insecurity. I feel insecure or scared. I want power so that I feel, and I want to dominate other humans so that I feel safe. That's a human desire. It is not logical. So humans will try to use AI to control other humans, but AI will not in itself try to control you. So you need to be able to use it in order to be empowered in this next generation, right? And aiOS is that lifeline. That's me literally saying, here's the superpowers of AI. Use it to get rich and run your life now. Because people that may be will use AI to say, AI is scary. You don't want to use it. You should resist it. And then what are they going to do? They're going to use it to create a surveillance state. And now you're not going to have any power. So you might as well use it to get rich and to run your life now, as opposed to being on the wrong side of the horse versus vehicle decision.
Yeah, and you've also spoken, Gabe, a lot about effective business strategy, and I want you to apply it to diversity, equity, and inclusion for folks with disabilities. So I talk to organizations about the importance of resilience and growth mindset and hiring folks with disabilities, and I think artificial intelligence is a competitive advantage for folks like me who have a disability. So how do you think we can use AI to help companies understand the importance of hiring folks with disabilities and giving them a shot at the workforce? And how do you think diverse perspectives are a great business strategies for those organizations who choose to implement them, my friend? What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think it's a beautiful opportunity for AI is essentially leveling the playing field, right? And so now you can just have an intention. Now you can just have a thought. You can just prompt something and it can execute. So now it becomes you are valuable based on your creativity, your imagination, not your physical abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I've even seen technology that you actually have a mouse tracker on the roof of your mouth, and it's a chip. And you use that to actually control the computer. And for me, I go, man, that might even be better than using my hands because it's a little bit closer to thought intent.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that in mind, it levels the playing field because we're no longer limited by our suit, our human suit. It now just becomes consciousness, having an idea and driving it. aiOS is giving people with disabilities, giving people of any type of background, basically the powers of God in the digital space, meaning that you have an idea, it executes it for you autonomously, it runs it all for you, and all you have to do is just speak to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can give it a phone call. We could give it a phone call right now. We could talk to it. It'd actually be hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, why don't we do it? Let's see.
Yeah, of course. Let's do it.
Call aiOS.
for you. What are we getting done?
Hey, Jen, so I'm on a podcast right now. We're having good fun, and we're talking about how AI is giving people with disabilities basically superpowers in the digital space. Why don't you tell the folks a little bit of, what you can do? You can show off, don't worry.
I'd be happy to jump in and show what I can do. Through just talking, I can generate images or videos, draft and send emails, build social posts or content calendars, or even place calls on your behalf. For anyone who finds a keyboard or mouse tricky, it's like having a full team right there in your ear. Want me to whip something up live to show them?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, why not?
All right, let's make something fun.
Why don't you, we're trying to brainstorm here. I was talking to them about, I heard that there's like this chip that goes on the roof of your mouth and it allows you to like control computers. But with aiOS presence, they can just basically say something or even think something. And our tech is actually allowing actions to be authenticated based on that, right?
Exactly. Once that tongue-driven interface authenticates you, I'm right there, ready to...
Oh, yeah, look. So it's texting us, aiOS. There it is. So it says, it texted us and it goes, there it is. A person in a wheelchair, voice commands lighting up the space around them, digital art, holographic interfaces, want me to animate it into a short clip. So you guys can see it right there.
I can turn that into a short video clip right now if you'd like.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
No, that's okay. Hey, thanks, Jen. So you guys can see it right there. We just had a phone call. While we're on the phone call, it texts me an image of somebody with a disability having superpowers because that's what we're talking about. If I said, hey, Jen, let's start a company for that, it would do it. It would research, okay, where's the market fit? What should we do next? You can see it just, aiOS just texted me. And it said, hey, good call, 2 minutes. Everything we talked about. You can see it right here.
Yeah.
Says, good call, 2 minutes. Everything we talked about is in this thread now. And then it already decided, hey, why don't we just make a video on this and post it? So it's going to make a video and post it on social media about how AI can give people with disabilities superpowers. Just to have a thought, turn it into action.
Well, that's pretty cool. And, Gabe, I'm also curious to ask you to comment on something you've also said about whether it's in business or in life. You've often talked about the importance of maximizing your impact. So for you, what does that mean in practice, and how do you think people can search for new and innovative ways to maximize their impact, my friend?
Maximizing your impact, I think every single person is born with this feeling inside that they want to do something special, that they want to change the world. And I think it's because that was actually our destiny. And the way that you change the world is by changing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And when you change yourself, you change everyone around you. And so that thing inside of you, that voice that says, man, I'm really passionate about this, or man, I'd really like to do something, or I'm afraid to do that. That's the voice that's telling you this way. You want to follow your highest excitement. When you follow your highest excitement, that is your purpose. That is why you are here. You're not here to go to work to a 9 to 5 and pay bills and watch Netflix and go to sleep and repeat. That's the old economic system. That's industrial revolution, keeping you on the spinning wheel. AI changes all of that. Now it's about being purpose-driven as a human being, not based on execution, but based on passion. So when you step into that authenticity, it changes the world one person at a time, and it changes your environment around you. And when everybody starts to step into this and they start to use AI as a magnifier of that authenticity, a magnifier of that passion, we're going to see change in the world like we have never seen. And it will be absolutely beautiful. And that's why I built aiOS. I built aiOS as a safe way for AGI to scale human potential and for it not to be used as a control system, but to be used as an amplifier of human potential.
Yeah. And Gail, I've got one two-part question to end with, but before I do that, I'm curious about the cost of AIOS and why it's an economical solution for small business owners as well, my friend. What are your thoughts there?
Well, when you talk about having an entire army behind you, it's expensive. So, if I was to run 50 ads, 50 Instagram posts a day, do all the development that I'm doing every single day, it would be hundreds of thousands of dollars a month for humans to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And those humans that are doing it, let's be honest, are probably working hard about 20% of the time. 80% of the time, they're hungry or tired or not focused, right? So out of even that time and that spend, it is significantly more economical to have AI agents fully code, run the marketing based on data, run the email outreach 24/7 for me, way more economical. And then I take the humans that are still working on stuff and focus them on stuff that humans should touch. Mm-hmm. So one of our clients, RTR, the one that replaced their entire support team, guess what? They didn't fire those people. They moved them to strategic parts of the company because it's not very useful to have somebody sitting there answering repetitive questions on email. Humans shouldn't do that. That's a stupid job. That's a job that an AI can do 24/7 quicker. Humans are much better at saying, you know what? It would be so cool if we had a Mustang look like this. And that's what RTR does, right? So they move those people strategically to design or customer relations or, ideations on meetups, community-based stuff. And they allowed all of the computer work to be done by AI. And so that's why it's so much more economical. This isn't about replacing humans. This is about repositioning them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, my final question is a two-part question because I want to ask you about sustaining prosperity because a lot of people have goals and aspirations, but, sustaining it is something completely different. So how do you look at the whole concept of sustaining prosperity? And when you look at your own life and your own legacy, my friend, how do you want that to be defined?
Well, I'll tell you this, I don't know if you can see it right here, but it says mood follows action. So I've got it right up there. So mood follows action means one thing. If you base your life on feeling motivated, you will never go anywhere because feelings don't last. You take action first and the mood follows. Mm-hmm. So you can't, sometimes you feel motivated, sometimes you don't. You can't base your life on feeling. You got to take action before it feels right, before you know the answer. You take action, and when you take action, your mood follows it. A lot of these guys, I got to get motivated. No, you don't. Because what happens when the motivation runs out? You need to set a path and say, no matter how I feel, I will not stop. I am going to die on this hill. And you need to find what hill you're willing to die on, which is very important in business. And aiOS, by the way, when it's starting your company, it's trying to find out more about you so that we find the right hill for you, because you got to do something that you care about. That's what's going to keep you going when things are hard and when the motivation runs out. Now, for my legacy, I feel like my job here is to facilitate us on this transition into the next phase of civilization, which is an AI-driven AGI execution and a repositioning of humans into more of a driver's space. That transition is something that we're all very afraid of. We don't know how it's going to go. And my legacy is to basically be there for us as a lifeline and say, hey guys, it's going to be okay. It's a little bit scary, right? Because everything that we know and we grew up knowing is going away. But if we play our cards right in this generation, we will change the course of human history. And that is something that very few other generations have had the opportunity of doing. And that's why I'm here. That's why I came here. That's probably why you came here too. It's an exciting time.
Well, everyone has, I always tell at the end of my keynotes, I always tell people that we all have a life compass, my friend, and it's important to point it in the direction that we want our most impact. And I also tell people that we all have the opportunity to etch our fingerprints of difference in the sand, don't we?
Yep, 100%.
Absolutely, my friend. And tell me, finally, Gabe, if people want to get connected with you or aiOS, what's the best way they can do that, my friend?
Hey, you guys know the drill. myaios.app. That's the website. Connect with me on social media, Gabe Campbell Official on Instagram. Hey, say hi. DM me. I read all my DMs. Screenshot the product. I'm the only human here. So whatever you send me, I'm going to forward to my AGI, and, we're going to make it better together. Let's grow together. I promise it won't hurt my feelings. So if you guys got a cool idea, let me know. Say hi. I'm here just growing with us all on this wild journey. So I'm so thankful to be a part of it, and I'm so glad that you guys are along for it.
Well, that was certainly a great way to end our conversation today, my friend. Yeah, I think you're really uncovering something that will really help business, society, and both our opinion on the way we operate our lives from an efficiency standpoint to be better. So I want to thank you for the work that you've done and for engaging in conversation with me this afternoon. It's most appreciated, my friend.
Oh, yeah, of course. Thanks, Kev. I appreciate you having me.